Holy crap, everybody. Do we have a lot to get caught up on? So first things first, my last upload, I said that my next upload would involve a what I eat in a day. And that was the plan. But then Labor Day happened and also changes were made to my meal plan. So it's whatevs, right? I will do my best to include some semblance of what I eat in a day, but it will not be what you're probably used to YouTubers doing with all the pretty edits and all that. I think I'll just run through more or less some changes to my nutrition. Okay, so let's jump right in with a prep update. What does prep entail? Well, it entails a physique update. It entails some updates as far as like how my weight has been and the progress with all of that. It involves me letting you know of any changes with what's going on with cardio, calories, and I would like to make an alliteration right now, but I really can't think straight about calories, cardio, and y'all help me out here. Throw a funny alliteration down there. And I don't know, man, cuts, but I'm not cut up. It's very sad. Y'all, I barely have abs and I'm a month out. This is like insanity. So that being said, I am going to throw every Natty trick in the book and kick up the intensity considerably. Mind you, all of that has transpired over the course of the weekend. So we're a few days in here to the new everything. All right, so I will say this though too. My coach made a comment about her own prep because she's been going through some things. And she's like, you know, as nice as it would be to tell myself I'm gonna beat my previous package every time, I don't even bother looking at prep like that. It's more about, did I do the very best that I could given the circumstances? Because the circumstances in your life are different every prep. And so I don't really know what to make of my circumstances because in a lot of ways, certain things have not been stressful. Like the meal prep on this prep has not been a challenge. You know, a lot of things have been more stable than previous preps. The biggest issues were stressors and GI issues. So it was really like my body was different and my body's response to stress was different than last prep. But my body has been really stubborn and I'm not mad at her because at the end of the day, she's preserving tissue. And I gotta, you know, that if there was ever something to be proud of, it's, you know, your body preserving tissue. So, you know, I mean, in the long term, holding on to muscle, staying shapely is a good thing. In the short term, with my goals, it's unfortunate being at odds with my own body, but it is what it is. This is now where I do everything in my power to fight back. I'm very sorry, body. To see where we can meet in the middle, what all we will produce here. And so let's get into some of the Natty tricks that I'm about to deploy, all of which are compliant with WADA or something. At least when I checked just now. So here we go. Starting from the top, everybody. Starting from the top. So coach and I cut calories. So now instead of 1,800, I'm doing 1,600. Cool. Steps the same, except your girl is now wearing a weighted vest. That was my own executive decision to increase the resistance and therefore the caloric burn or whatever, caloric output during all of my freaking steps. This is just a 10-pound vest, but if you think about it, 10 pounds is what I'm freaking trying to lose. So I'm gonna assume, you know, that'll be good, right? So cardio is up on that note. So before it was 200 minutes of cardio a week, which I split up however I wanted. Now, and HIIT was optional. HIIT remains optional, but I did some on Saturday. I don't know how I managed, but I did. And I'm now shooting for, coach is asking me to shoot for 220 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot for 250. And how I'm gonna do that is doing 2-a-days, 2 short bursts a day. So in the morning, I'm gonna go ahead and do 25 minutes. Feel like I can always get that in no matter what. And I'm not even hungry first thing in the morning. So even though I'm not like someone who believes that fastest cardio is like that effective, I'm actually going to do it. And if there is some sort of benefit, hopefully I'll realize it. And then I'll do 25 minutes at night, maybe after my last meal to help me digest it, or whenever I can fit it in. So yeah, I feel like if I do 2 a days, that's 50 minutes a day, possibly even more. Like if I have time or I'm still going or I'm watching something on the gram or some shit, then fine. It could be more. It could be an hour a day for 4 weeks. It's a lot of cardio. So that's another thing I'm going to do. On that note as well, I've never used fat burners. I think they're a waste of money, especially if they're not like illegal ones. Like if they're just like over the counter or herbal, I just don't think they're that serious. And it's really usually more the stimulant component. And I don't need any more stimulants, everybody. I'm a very high energy person, right? Even on 1,600 calories, I'm still go until about 6:30 at night. Point is, I have plenty of energy to get what I need to get done during certain business hours, if you will. So I don't really want to take stimulants. I really value my sleep, but there are some herbal fat burners that are not stimulants, such as yohimbine or yohimbine, tomato. So I got the green light to go ahead and start taking that. And I did some research on the efficacy and the best times and the dosages according to kilogram of weight and blah, blah, blah. And so it would seem that it's best taken within a 4-hour window of of a meal. So taking it in the morning, or like sometimes I get up a couple hours before my wake up time to go pee, I could pop a yohimbine during that potty break. Then when I wake up in a couple of hours to do some fasted cardio that I never do, then I could take the yohimbine. Yeah, it'll be in my system and I'll be doing fasted cardio with yohimbine in my system. And at that point I might have a cup of black coffee first thing in the morning. So even then, still considered fasted. Maybe there'll be some additional benefit there. So 50 minutes or more of cardio a day, AM cardio fasted with yohimbine. I have to think that's going to be helpful. The long walks with the added resistance has to be helpful. And then, of course, the calorie drop. I mean, shit. I believe that if I do this, I should be able to lose 10 pounds in 4 weeks, which will put me in what I consider to be acceptable condition for the stage. So let's effing go. Oh, Lord. Over the course of Labor Day, I did something different. I went out of town, brought my meals and everything else, took my morning walk, tried to stay on top of my routine. But the stress of deviating from my routine and putting my prep in the hands of other people, I mean, it's always your own responsibility, but there are different social variables, The stress of all of that and my fucked up sleep. I normally get 7 to 8 hours, but when you're spending time with other people and you're not in your home and you're not in your bed, dudes, I was averaging 4.5 hours of sleep this weekend, which is unacceptable for me and completely derails my digestion. Anyway, that perfect storm led to GI issues. So my bitch ass has not pooped. Well, today I pooped. This is my first day back home. But all weekend, things just didn't move down the track as they normally would. I wasn't moving at the same times a day or for the same prolonged periods of time that I'm used to. So my digestion was just entirely not what it normally is. So that's not helpful. So I think that's where this particular stubborn plateau is coming from. And that will clear after 2 nights at home, getting my regular sleep. So even just last night is so funny. I tell people hey, my social curfew is 7:30, and I start winding down for bed around 9, and I am in bed and passed out around 10:30, and I always wake up at 6:30 without an alarm. And last night was my first night back home, and I looked at my sleep tracker, and it was exactly that. It's yo, she's knocked out at this time and she woke up at this time. And I just think that's so adorable. I'm so proud of my circadian rhythm and the structure of my life and reinforcement of that it's so good, y'all. It's so good. Know yourself, and get yourself some quality sleep. Figure out what you need in order to get it, and get it, man. But a lot of it, honestly, is just creating the structure so that your body just like kicks into that rhythm. So sleep and GI disturbances were kind of a feature of the last couple of days. And now I'm just like focused on making sure that that does not happen again for the rest of the next 2 months, because I have another show in November. So that's a significant thing, and it's going to pass or whatever. My next check-in should be much more visually striking. As far as posing, and I'll add a little reference here. Oh, Lord. All right, we talked about weight. We talked about the theme and lesson of this prep has been just not only being patient. The theme of this prep for me is acceptance, but not acceptance like I haven't taken my foot off the gas. It's just that I have been holding my breath and discouraged the bulk of this prep. That's what's different. So the previous prep, it really felt like momentum the whole time. I don't remember ever anything being stubborn. It felt like I was really living the laws of thermodynamics. And I felt so productive. Like every single day was a productive day towards my goal. And that for real makes you addicted to this shit. You know, just feeling like you have control in your life, feeling like you're realizing a vision, a goal, and then actually getting to realize it. And I love bodybuilding for that. So that was the theme last prep, was just like self-mastery and achieving new heights with my physique. And then, you know, realizing a vision, a creative vision as it was related to the stage routine. But this prep has just been a mental, emotional, motivational, I don't even want to say grind, because it hasn't been, again, I haven't been suffering, but it's just been kind of like this trust the process the whole freaking time, or the constantly having to just compartmentalize the scale, compartmentalize my work, compartmentalize everything, and just say it has to work out, or using a lot of coping strategies. All prep. There's been very little momentum, very little sense of control, predictability with the GI stuff, with the plateaus, you know, like I have like one good day and then the weight would be back up and I'm like, man, questioning physics, you know. That's actually another theme to this prep, is physics is hard, because the class I was taking was physics. So physics is a bitch that I thought I knew. I didn't know this bitch. This bitch trying to kill me. So this prep has not been a joyous one. Even to be this far out and to not be enjoying posing because I can't really see what I need to see in order to make all the adjustments. Like, I just feel like this whole prep has been a roll of the dice and a wish and a prayer. And that really kind of sucks, because I would like to be more confident and more excited right now, but instead I'm still like in crisis mode. You know, still enjoying it, because again, every prep has a lesson to teach you. It is what it is. There's more serious things in life than this. Case in point, life and death, you know, and illness. So I'm still grateful for my health. I still have that intact, you know, at this stage in the game. I have the resolution of the GI issues, and for the rest of my life, I'll know that certain amounts of stress can cause me significant GI distress. I also, once again, have it validated for myself through lived experience that like my sleep hygiene is of the utmost importance. Also, this prep has reinforced the importance of asking for what you need. You know, like, once you know what you need, that's cool, but you can't expect people to read your mind. And so now then you have to ask for what you need. Like with my social circles and stuff, I'll be like, I'm not available anytime before 10 a.m. Doesn't even matter if I'm off. Like, I'm not. You know, I want to do something, but I need to get my steps in. Can we do something where we can walk? Or I'd like to do something, but I'm too whatever, I'm not really available, but know that I do want to do something. I don't know. It's the importance of communicating with people so that you can allow them to be creative and help you problem solve, or so that they know why you have certain boundaries in place and they can honor them. So definitely asking for what I need, getting to know myself better, all that stuff. That's kind of the theme, and the disillusionment of this prep has been quite something I wasn't expecting. But, it'll be a new experience, and the next prep will be better. It has to be. I'll be more prepared, and my life will be structured in such a way, again, with, working from home. Next prep, even next show will be better because I'll be at a better starting position. The next show I have is the first week in November. So I literally, whatever my condition is for the Mr. America, I'll be able to improve upon it for the next one. So, it's all good, but y'all, learning things. So we covered my weight, we covered the theme, the food situation. So in order to drop those calories, I changed a couple of things in my meal plan because the structure's everything. The skeleton is there. I eat 6 meals a day, but 4 of those meals are what I call square meals. Those square meals mean that I have protein, carb, veggie, and a sauce in those 4 meals. Sometimes the sauce is more carby, sometimes the sauce is more fat rich. But the point is I have 4 square meals, and then I have 2 snacks. The snacks are still pretty high volume in my opinion. And so what I've done to reduce those calories is I've taken 1/2 ounce of protein off of the whole food source, like the meat. So I was doing 4 ounces, now I'm doing 3.5. I subbed out, instead of rice for one of my staple meals, I switched to cauliflower rice. That cut a huge chunk off there. And then for my breakfast that I have, every breakfast, is always my anabolic porridge, which is basically either oats or cream of rice with protein powder and with peanut butter or some sort of nut butter. So basically I cut the fat a little bit. Instead of 20 grams or something, I knocked it to 15. So between those changes, overall calories are down, and I don't have to feel it like I would otherwise if I had to eliminate a meal or something, And if I have to drop again, I'll figure something out. Also, I'm less worried about dropping calories again once I start working from home exclusively. The biggest challenge again is dropping calories when I'm running around the hospital. It's a recipe for a freaking binge because I go hungry and I don't have food, and then it's a whole thing. So at home it won't be an issue because I'll have my food there and I'll have the means to do plenty of other stuff to distract myself, including going for a long walk and getting away from food. So it'll be fine. But, right. The only other thing to cover is posing and my routine. So my division that I'm going to be competing in has changed. And I'm learning that there are some pretty significant differences actually between women's physique and women's bodybuilding. So really working on cleaning up my side chest for that, and also even the side pose, the regular front relax transition porter turn thing. It is a little different with bodybuilding. Normally with figure, I kind of legs straight, kind of looking like a statue, kind of looking like a figure, But with bodybuilding, you really want to show off the hammies, and so you really do want a little bit more of a bent leg, a little bit soft bend. And just so since I'll be competing in both, I've got to remind myself of those little things so that that works out. Fortunately, as I was alluding to, I may or may not be booed up, and this person may or may not be a bodybuilder himself. So I have the benefit of someone who is passionate about this and knowledgeable about this, and who I can spend some time with that will also help me work towards my goals. So Hashtag blessed or something. Not gonna talk about that, y'all. Not gonna talk about that. But yeah, I did write a list just to make sure I stayed on track. I feel as though I've addressed the libido with the whole being booed up thing. And as far as energy, I feel like I've already addressed that by speaking to the amount of energy I have during business hours, right? And then after that, I'm like, knock the fuck out. So, yeah. The only thing I can add about that is that energy high or low, I still try to stick to not having caffeine after 2 p.m. It's just not necessary. And if I get all the quote unquote hard shit I have to get done before 2, which I typically do, then there's really no reason for me to ingest something that could potentially disrupt my sleep. There's no reason. I'll do decaf if I just want like a warm drink or something, and that's working fine for me. So yeah, man, trying to think if there was anything else I did differently this week. I mean, I have been drinking more teas lately, like herbal teas, because like just that warm hot water or whatever, warm water, it just fills you differently than regular like tap water, and so it's helped with satiety as well. But as far as the suffering, I don't believe I'm suffering yet, other than again the mental anguish of not being where I want to be. But back to the theme of this entire prep, which is just keeping it moving, having faith, and conceding that my body is really gonna do things at its own rate, that it is battling things I cannot see and understand. So like stress, for instance, it's experiencing that and attending to that with more interest than my body composition goals. It is what it is. It is what it is. With that, I think that really does cover the prep update. I think I'll close out with a bit of training footage of me and my performance with 1,600 calories a day. And this little clip is funny because I was in such a grumpy mood. I had gotten 4 hours and some change of sleep, and like nothing was moving right. I think this was 3:45, and I was just like, mother. So yeah, that was a good excerpt into my life. Anyway, I'm looking forward to next week. Progress pictures there, and I will catch you guys on the other side. Thanks for tuning in. Any words of encouragement are so appreciated. Any insight, anything, comments about any of this, much appreciated down there. So take care, my friends.